What's going on YouTube? This build takes me way back to the Void 3.0 beginning days. Now, it's basically what carried me through the Legendary Witch Queen campaign. It's a ton of fun, makes you feel literally invincible. Now, making a Void build is actually kind of tough because the artifact paired with a single aspect in Void Hunter is pretty broken with every Void weapon, So I wanted to spice it up, give you something different and even more powerful. Something to help you clear ads and even take on something solo if you need to. If you enjoy this build or just the content, please drop a like, sub, and leave a comment down below because it really helps me a lot. I'd love to know what build you guys want me to work on next, and for those that don't know, I'm streaming daily on Twitch and would love to have you guys swing by sometime. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'll let you enjoy the build. Y'all stay positive out there. Peace. Alright, onto the items that we're actually using. I am using Gerfalcon's Hauberk. The reason I actually chose this is because yes, picking up an Orb of Power does allow me to proc Volatile, but we are constantly coming in and out of invisibility, and this does give us extra bonus damage. I know that does stack with the extra Void damage surge from your boots, and it does stack alongside the artifact mod, which we'll get to in a second, called Void Weapon Channeling. But it's just extra bonus damage. I did try out a couple of different ones, and honestly, this exotic is up for grabs, right? Like, you can use the 6th Coyote, which is great because you got 2 dodges to turn you invisible. Even though you're constantly going in and out of invisibility, having that extra dodge on standby is great, and it increases your Void channel as well from the artifact. Omnioculus was fantastic because that really added the extra benefit of just staying invisible all the time and then made you feel invincible at many other times. You are basically gaining more health than the damage you're taking, so in turn you're just unable to die a lot of the times when you have Omnioculus. That's a second highly recommended one. And then finally, Aeon Swifts, the arms, they're a little underrated, and if you need ammo for your team, you're a person who can go invisible constantly and do finishers left and right on champs, things like that. So Aeon Swifts is definitely something you can consider running with this build. As you can see, the weapon that I've been talking about is Ruinous Effigy. It's got a couple of weird different things that you've probably never even seen. It turns someone into a Void Transmutation Sphere, and what that is like a little purple ball, and I'll show you like a little clip about it. And with that sphere you can do 3 things. You can do a light attack, a heavy attack, or you can guard, and it will drain the life of enemies around you, giving you that life in return. The more enemies, the merrier. And then finally, if you do have the catalyst, it just says increased weapon damage to targets damaged by the sphere itself. So if you damage somebody and then they don't die, you do increased damage with the weapon itself. Going over our subclass, it's pretty easy. We're going to go through with Mobius Quiver because 2 shots is better than 1. Reloading is great, so we don't need our melee ability, so this is great for marksman's dodge. Triple jump, that's just my choice. I've always mained triple jump. Snare bomb, but we don't have an option. Vortex grenade because it's one of the best. Vanishing step makes you invisible. If you're using Omni, I will use the Trapper's Ambush. If you're using Omnioculus, use Trapper's Ambush because this will allow you to turn your whole team invisible and get your melee back, which is great for what Omni's trying to do, especially in reses and stuff. And then Stylish Executioner is mandatory. You must have this. It's part of the build, but defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target grants invisibility. We are literally hitting all of these and turning ourselves invisible after every single kill. If you are draining your targets, more than likely you've dropped an Orb of Power, you've granted volatile rounds. If you continue to kill targets, then you are staying invisible because you are killing volatile targets. If you slam, then you'll come out of invisibility for just a moment, but then once you kill your target, you go right back to invisibility because of the suppression that the heavy slam grants. So we are taking advantage of Stylish Executioner a lot. Now my fragments, staying invisible longer is great, having Devour is great, and you get Devour by picking up an Orb of Power, which is right here, Echo of Starvation. We are creating Void Breaches and Orbs of Power, so we're granting ourselves Devour a lot. We are creating the Void Breachers by killing a suppressed target. You gain increased mobility for a short duration, and your equipped weapon is reloaded. Defeating suppressed targets create Void Breaches. Usually this is whenever you do your slam. If you kill them, you'll create a small Void Breach. Most of the time you won't even see it. You'll just automatically pick it up because it spawns where they are, and you slammed. So You won't even realize that you picked it up, but it is great. And then finally, void ability final blows cause targets to explode. This just adds to the volatile effect that we're already making people explode through volatile, but then they explode for even more damage or even more whatever. It does make a difference whether this is on or off, but it's your choice. Some of these are negotiable, like you don't have to have increased duration and you don't have to have the void final abilities cause targets to explode. You don't have to have these things, but and not even this one. You do have to have the picking up void breach grants devours or orbs of power grant devour. You have to have that one, but the other three, they are technically up for grabs. That's what I really like about this build. Thanks to the artifact, most of the void weapons in Hunter are just really good. If you can create orbs of power and you're constantly picking up and it's constantly going invisible, between these two little things and the artifact itself, you really are just abusing void and volatile and going invisible. You don't need a whole lot of things. On the mods, like I said, you don't need a whole lot of things. I did increase my grenade cooldown with grenade kickstarts, and if I use bolstering detonation, I get class ability energy when using my grenade. I try not to use it too much unless they're really grouped up, even though the gun itself is doing a lot of the things. If they're grouping up, you're taking advantage of those groups by the gun. We do have 2 void weapon surges and a whole lot of resistances. I have Absolution. You don't need the healing when picking up an orb because you get Devour procced and that will fill you back up to full health. I do have Distribution and Bomber for whenever I use my class ability. It lowers my cooldowns and my grenade cooldowns. The reason I'm doing this is because every now and then I do use my grenade. I want to keep my abilities available at all times because of void weapon channeling. Void weapon channeling will allow you to have more increased damage based on the number of void abilities that you have. You have to have volatile flow. I can't stress you enough how important it is to have this. I'll put up a screen of it right now, and that way you can see what's going on. But basically everyone's just exploding because I've got volatile flow procced, and you can proc it by creating an overpower. Breaks from Beyond gives you and your team heavy ammo whenever you get kills with a void weapon. It's not necessary, but it is a really great added benefit for if you're in something like a strike or something and you know that you got a boss coming up. It's nice to have these extra heavy ammo bricks. I do have special ammo finder because our weapon is special, and I'm using Font of Wisdom and Harmonic Siphon, mainly because creating orbs of power is important for us so that we can get that volatile procced, and I have really low intellect, so I'm sitting at like 40 right now. But there's the mods. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never ran, said no, man, I still go.